Breaking news! Everything looked under control until it wasn't. The Ravens had the lead, the momentum, and the crowd, but in a stunning fourth-quarter collapse, Baltimore let it all slip away against the Bills. And while fans are still reeling from the loss, what if I told you there were 5 major takeaways that could flip the script on the entire 2025 season? But before we move on, make sure you hit that like button if you're a true Ravens fan. It's always amazing to see fans of all ages supporting this team. And if you feel like it, comment, "Go Ravens!" Let's get right into it, starting with a name you either love or are currently yelling at, Derrick Henry. Yes, he fumbled late in the game. Yes, it hurt, but we can't allow that one moment to erase the sheer dominance we witnessed for nearly 4 quarters. Henry looked like the same beast we saw during his prime in Tennessee. He shut up every critic who claimed he was washed, too old, too slow, or that this was the year the wheels would fall off. Instead, he posted 169 rushing yards on just 18 carries, an eye-popping 9.4 yards per attempt, with 2 touchdowns. That's not just good. That's elite. Even more impressive, Henry leads the entire NFL in rushing yards after week 1. And it doesn't stop there. He's also the league leader in yards after first contact, with 104. When you factor in that this offense runs through the ground game, and Henry's performance opens everything else up for Lamar Jackson, it's clear this signing was more than worth it. His impact isn't just statistical, it's structural to how the Ravens play. Now imagine what happens when he has that same production without the fumble. That's what should excite you. Speaking of excitement, Zay Flowers just might have become the definitive WR1 in Baltimore. That might ruffle some feathers, but Sunday night put the debate to bed. Flowers didn't just show up, he exploded. 143 yards, a touchdown, and a staggering 20.4 yards per reception. It was his best game as a pro, and he made it look easy. But it wasn't just the stat line, it was how he did it. His route running was crisp. He was creating an average of 5.3 yards of separation from defenders when targeted, the highest in the NFL during week 1. That's not a fluke. That's elite talent. He thrived against the Bills secondary known to blitz and struggle in man coverage, exactly as predicted. And when Lamar went into scramble mode, Zay adjusted on the fly like a seasoned vet, finding space and making himself a target. That's chemistry. That's the kind of connection Baltimore has been desperate for in a top receiver. And we're seeing it blossom right now. Lamar Jackson? He didn't just look solid. He looked surgical. 14 completions on 19 attempts, 209 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and a passer rating of 144.4. His QBR of 94.0 puts him near the top among all quarterbacks for the week. The throw to DeAndre Hopkins for the touchdown? Picture perfect. And let's be honest, isn't it time we retire the narrative that Lamar can't throw the ball? At this point, anyone still pushing that storyline is either not watching or doesn't want to see the truth. He's not just a running QB. He's not just a dual threat. He's evolving into a full-fledged elite passer, and that's terrifying for defenses. What makes this even more promising is how much more dangerous he becomes when paired with the likes of Zay Flowers and a productive Derrick Henry. That trio has the potential to be one of the most balanced offensive threats in the league. And on the other side of the ball, there's one guy who stood out as the undeniable anchor, Kyle Hamilton. The highest paid safety in football showed us exactly why he got the bag. 2 pass breakups, 6 solo tackles, 3 assists, and he nearly blocked a field goal. Hamilton was flying around, making plays, and stepping up when others on the defense faded. You want leaders? He's your guy. While Roquan Smith might be the vocal motivator, the true heartbeat of this defense runs through Hamilton. He was the best defender on the field, full stop, and the Ravens were right to lock him up long term. Still, it's hard to ignore the defensive collapse. Giving up 41 points is never acceptable, but if there's a silver lining here, it's that we've been here before. Just last year, the Ravens opened the season with another brutal road loss against the Chiefs, no less, and followed it up with a deflating loss to the Raiders. There was 0-2, fans were panicking, and it felt like the season was spiraling. And yet, they bounced back. This team has been through the fire and come out stronger. They've won games they weren't supposed to. They've lost games they should have had in the bag. And that's what makes this group so dangerous. They learn. They evolve. And despite what Sunday night looked like, this isn't a team that's going to fall apart after one punch in the mouth. Because here's where things get real. If you're still with me, you're a diehard Ravens fan. You know the stakes. You know what's coming. And you know that how this team responds next Sunday will define the tone for the entire 2025 season. Let's get straight into it. The Cleveland Browns are up next, and this isn't some cupcake matchup. This isn't a get-right game. This is a division opponent with a stacked front seven, a defense that ranked among the league's best last season, and a coaching staff that would love nothing more than to send Baltimore to a 0-2 start. And here's the kicker. The Ravens cannot afford to lose this game. Not now. Not with the schedule tightening. Not with the AFC North shaping up to be an all-out war from top to bottom. So how do they respond? It starts with the defense. Let's not sugarcoat it. The fourth quarter collapse against Buffalo was embarrassing. Up double digits at home, and you give up 21 points in the final quarter? That's not championship caliber defense. That's not Ravens football. Guys were out of position. Tackling was sloppy. Communication looked completely off. And once again, when it mattered most, the secondary folded under pressure. But the bright spot is exactly who we mentioned earlier, Kyle Hamilton. And the question now becomes, will the rest of this defense rally around their leader? Because Roquan Smith might be the vocal fire starter, but Kyle Hamilton is the soul of this unit. He played with fire, with instinct, and with a relentless motor that Baltimore desperately needed from everyone else on that side of the ball. And they'll need it in Cleveland. The Browns are going to run the football. They're going to test Baltimore's discipline in the trenches. And they're going to try to grind this game down and make it ugly. The Ravens must get tougher, get meaner, and stop letting teams off the hook when they have a lead. The entire narrative around this team changes if they simply finish games. That's it. The pieces are there. The talent is undeniable. But until they learn to close the door in the fourth quarter, they'll always fall short of what they could be. Offensively, though, you have to feel a little bit of hope. Because Lamar, Zay, and Derrick Henry, despite the loss, showed flashes of what this offense can become. And it's scary. The efficiency was off the charts. They were explosive. They were balanced. It wasn't just Lamar carrying the load with his legs. It wasn't just Henry pounding the rock. It wasn't just Zay taking the top off the defense. It was all of it together. That kind of versatility is rare in the NFL. Most teams have a guy or maybe two. The Ravens, they've got a trio. And if this unit keeps developing chemistry, defenses are going to be in serious trouble. And let's not forget about DeAndre Hopkins. That touchdown grab in the red zone? Veteran stuff. Precise route, timing with Lamar, high football IQ. It's coming together. Slowly. But it's coming. The key now is consistency. Can the offensive line keep Lamar clean? Can Todd Monken continue dialing up plays that get the ball into Zay's hands in space? Can Henry be the hammer this team needs for 4 quarters, not just 3.5? And most importantly, can this team, as a whole, find the killer instinct it takes to put opponents away? That's the question I want to leave you with. Ravens fans, do you believe this team has that edge? That closing mentality? Or are we destined for another season of what-ifs and almosts? Let me know in the comments what you think. Does this team have the mindset to finish games? Are we still legit contenders? Or are you seeing cracks that can't be ignored? And hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stay locked in, because win or lose, we ride with the Ravens all season long. More content is coming, and you won't want to miss it. Check out the next video right here on the screen. And as always, go Ravens! Let's wrap this up by zooming out just a bit. One game doesn't define a season, but it can absolutely reveal the things a team must confront if they want to be great. And for the Ravens, Sunday night's loss was a brutal reminder. Talent alone doesn't win football games. Execution, discipline, and mindset, those are the difference makers. The good news? The Ravens have the talent. Derrick Henry is still a monster in the backfield. Zay Flowers is blossoming into one of the league's most electrifying young receivers. Lamar Jackson continues to silence doubters with his arm and decision-making. Kyle Hamilton looks every bit like the best safety in football. All the pieces are there. But those pieces need to click at the right moments. The defense must tighten up in crunch time. The offense has to stay aggressive. And the Ravens have to stop giving teams chances to steal games they should already have won. That's the line between playoff teams and championship contenders. Sunday's game against the Browns isn't just about avoiding an 0-2 start. It's about proving that this team can bounce back, that it can finish strong, and that the lessons from Buffalo weren't wasted. The Ravens are good enough to go on a run. But will they? That's the question, Ravens fans. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think this team will bounce back in week 2? Will the defense show up? Will Derrick Henry redeem himself? Let's talk about it down below. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and stay tuned. We'll be breaking everything down for you all season long. Another video is up on the screen right now. Go check it out next, and as always, thanks for riding with us. Go Ravens!